So right after the draft, I mean, like right after the draft, there's a mad scramble for undrafted free agents. And especially in this draft, when I was looking around still at the best players available, I was using the ESPN app, just looking at best players available at the end. There was some guys there that I thought the New York Giants should absolutely go after. There were some guys in the 7th round that I thought the New York Giants should draft. One of those guys being Ivan Pace, another one of those guys being Eli Ricks from LSU. And it was just a lot of players there. So imagine the excitement, when it's time, the draft is over, it's time to look at the UDFAs. And I'm going down the list, I'm looking at all these other teams, and I'm seeing some of the names that I wanted. Ivan Pace gone, Eli Ricks gone, things like that. And I'm like, wow, who are the New York Giants going to get? So I scroll down to the New York Giants, and the first name I see is Bryce Ford-Wheaton. And I think the New York Giants got one. I think we found one. I think we really have a chance there's a real chance for this guy to make the roster, man. And if you're not familiar with Bryce Ford-Wheaton, the man had a 4th round grade on him. I don't know why he fell out of the draft completely. I've been Googling, I've been searching, I've been trying to figure out what exactly happened for this man to drop, out of the draft again. And you can't teach certain things. And when you look at his tape, you're like, this guy is a player, or has the ability to be a player. Why was he free? And what happened? Pretty much what happened with Bryce Ford-Wheaton? What happened? But let's talk about the player just a little bit, right? So Bryce Ford-Wheaton, was an invite to the combine, one of the faster 40s in the combine for the wide receiver. The man ran a 4.38 40. I know that's fast, but that's not it. He ran a 4.38 40. Ask me how tall he is. The man is 6'4". Okay, that's cool. 6'4" receiver running 4.38. I've heard it before. How much does this guy weigh? This guy is a bona fide 220 pounds. So now you're like, wait a minute. You have a 6'4", 220-pound wide receiver that runs a 4.38, and his game tape looks pretty good. How does he not get drafted? And again, I'm going to search and try to find out why this man did not get drafted. And as soon as I do, I will let you guys know. But let's just talk about the good instead of focusing on the bad. Looking at this wide receiver room, and we did some things, we made some moves. But just looking at this roster of wide receivers, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, if everything's fair, has the ability to make this team, and not only make this team, possibly, contribute as well. So just think about what's going on with the wide receiver room. You got, of course, rookie Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins, Wan'Dale Robinson's coming back off an injury. We just picked up Paris Campbell, picked up Jamison Crowder, picked up Jeff Smith, more of a special teams guy. We still have David Sills, Khalil Pimpleton, and it's a bunch of wide receivers, Sterling Shepard. There's a bunch of wide receivers that are going to be on that 90-man roster when we go into training camp. But at the end of it, when it's all said and done, with those names, I think Bryce Ford-Wheaton has a chance to make this team. And again, when you watch the tape of Bryce Ford-Wheaton, I only saw a couple of games outside of the highlights. Something about it, he just has a meanness to him. The man will high point the ball. Seems to have very, very good body control, because he wasn't dealing with the best quarterback, at West Virginia. And he had to make a lot of adjustments to, badly thrown balls or balls that were short and things like that. But he was making catches. He was adjusting in the air. He was adjusting, in the middle of the routes. Just tracking the ball. You can see that this man has real good ball skills. And again, I think he really has a chance of making this team. Now, also during the draft, we wanted some linebackers. Obviously, we picked up Bobby Okereke. We're hoping that Darian Beavers can come back and return, but we still wanted some other linebackers, and we didn't draft any. But when you look at this list of names, there's a couple of linebackers on here that could possibly contribute as well. Now, the linebacker spot on the bottom, on the back end, you had guys like Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown, who are special teams contributors. But after a couple years, those they become veterans, and they're supposed to get their vet minimum. And in some cases, that's $1 million, $1.5 million, in some cases $2 million. So what do you do in order to try to save money when you're so close to the cap like the New York Giants are? Every dollar matters. So just thinking about that, and just thinking about some of the linebackers that we picked. And there's a linebacker, Deontay Johnson out of Toledo, off-ball linebacker, shows some really good technique. Show that he can scrape, show that he can get skinny against the blocks. He can shed blocks pretty well. Believe he's 6'1", about 230 pounds. So not the traditional bigger linebacker like you used to, but he's in the mold of a guy like Bobby Kerrike, some of these lighter guys that can run. And even though it's a long shot for him, there's still a linebacker on the team that you can look for in UDFA that if all things fair, he has a chance, to possibly, make a mark and get into that room. You never want to underestimate any of these guys, because again, these guys have a chance to make this team. It's a new regime, not a new regime, like a new regime, but it's still pretty new. And these guys, don't play favorites that much, especially in the linebacker room where a lot of these guys are new or either young and rookies. There's a chance that a UDFA can crack that roster, at the linebacker spot. And I'm just going down the list. I'm just looking. We went with some wide receivers. We did get another cornerback, Jamon Green out of Michigan. We did pick up an edge rusher, and that's another position that a lot of people don't feel like that's a need, but I think we need a backup edge. We need more guys to add to that room. Aziz scared a lot of people with the injuries last year. Now these were soft tissue injuries, nothing major, nothing like ligaments and things like that, but he was not available when you needed him all the time last year. And there was no real depth behind him. Now we had, the UDFA from last year, Timon Fox, that stepped in and did some good work. You had Jihad Ward, just an outside linebacker. I think he should be more of on the front with his hand in the dirt than he should be, a stand-up edge, but he was the best edge setter. O'Shane Zimenez was gone. Things like, we needed some more. Ellison Smith was a guy that wasn't healthy, and then when he was healthy, he only played one game and got injured again. We need some more help on the outside. And, one guy that we picked up as a UDFA, his name is, they call him Baldonado. He's from Pittsburgh. Now, they run a 4-3. Like I said, he's a 4-3 defensive end on the smaller side, about 250, 260 pounds. He can stand up. He did show some quickness. But that's another guy that you can add to the room that needs a sturdy rotation. We need to be able to, to keep guys fresh, keep guys healthy. And the more you can build a healthy rotation, the more you can just send guys. The way that Wink wants to just send the blitz and things like that. And he usually sends the blitz with like secondary and interior linebackers. But you want to still have a healthy rotation as pass rushing and edge room. And I think Baldonado is another guy that has a possible chance of making this team again. But that was just some of the names. And I just want to do a quick video because there's a lot of guys on this list of UDFAs that we signed, and also people that got invites to minicamp. But those are just, some of the names that I wanted to highlight really quickly. Let you guys know what's going on. And I did put the full list of, what we've seen so far. And again, this is unofficial because the Giants have not released their official, invites for minicamp yet. But usually this stuff is pretty spot on. Usually these guys are confirming it through their agents and through social media. You'll see them on Twitter, expressing, their gratitude to teams and, for the invites and stuff like that. But again, nothing officially from the New York Giants yet. But again, this list is probably going to be solid, probably going to be pretty accurate too. But just some names that I wanted to put out there that you guys can look out for, maybe do some research on. Again, Bryce Ford-Wheaton probably has a realest shot at anybody on this list of possibly making a 53. And I just think that skill set in looking at this wide receiver room, why not? So again, I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.